Okay, hi everyone. So today I'm going to try to fix a leaning fence. We had a fence that was built here close to about a year and a half ago by a department store, hardware store that offered a lot of home remodeling and whether it's kitchens, bathrooms, or something in the backyard like putting up a shed. We decided to go for a fence. I'm not going to name the name because I don't want to get in trouble here, but I did argue with them. It was well after they gave us like a year, a 1 year warranty on it, which I don't think it's enough time because it's just one season. I'm sorry, 1 year, and you're only going through like one season, spring, fall, summer, what have you. So basically what happened was everything's pretty solid. As you can tell, we actually live in an open place. The wind actually blows this direction, okay? And I would imagine that they would drop these poles a lot deeper. Now, some of them are actually pretty good, and some of them are loose. I'm going to show you that. The way they did this was they have a machine, dug the hole, right? And then they dropped the concrete in with the posts, the 4x4 posts. And their technique is they just drop the cement dry in there, and then whether it rains or the moisture from the ground, it should absorb into the cement mix and then harden. Okay, now the problem I find is that so for example, this post right here, right? So this one's pretty solid. There is play, but it's pretty solid into the ground. When you go to a post like this, actually, I'm going to find one that's a little bit more obvious. Here you go. So you can see that there's some space here, and I think what happens is the wind is pushing here. But if you did it right and dropped everything down within frost level, or at least come close to it, it wouldn't happen. But as you can tell, there is a lot of play. I mean, actually, if you can see it this way, it's moving, okay? And at least 2 or 3 inches, and it's also off center as well. So let me try to walk back in this direction. And if you can tell, this is the post here. It should line up, and that one that was moving is actually more in, right? So these line up there, but I have to pull out further just to see the other post, which is that one. All right. So I could have went about this a couple of ways. One, pull out the post and the concrete and do it all over again, which really means I had to take apart the 2x4s on each one and maybe even pull out some of the pickets from there. They use a nail hammer, one of those hammer guns, nail pump guns or whatever. So I've tried taking those nails out before in another project, and they're really a bitch to take out. They really are, because they use the long ones, and then trying to pull the head out without damaging the wood, it's just a pain. So basically there were these 3 posts. The one that was moving, this one is loose right here. Let me see this one here. Okay, this one has just a little bit of play, but it's pretty solid into the ground. This one we already know is movable, at least 2-3 inches. Here is another one. Let me see. Let me go back to this one. Oh, I'm sorry. So that one is the one that's movable, 2 to 3 inches. This one, as you can tell right there, there's already a gap, and I can't even pull it to the point where it used to be. I might have to set up some kind of jig to kind of pull it this direction. So you have 1, 2, let me see. This is another one. Okay, I don't know if it's hard for me to show this, and then, so this has a lot of play on it. And I look down here, again, you can still see the gap of where it should be. I'm thinking one of 2 things. The concrete didn't set well, right? Or they didn't make it deep enough. because had they done those two things, everything should be in line, because these are only 3 posts that actually do that. If you go down further down towards the end of the yard, they're pretty solid into the ground. Actually, everything else around the yard is solid except for these 2 areas. And it just really annoys the hell out of me. So that's solid. And then, yeah, these are pretty solid. So I was pretty sure about that. So as I was going back to, there are 2 ways: take out the posts, pull everything out, and then set everything back in. Or what I'm going to do, because I've built a fence before, much bigger fence than this on my own. I started digging holes down into the ground, okay? I went below frost level, at least close to 30, was it 32 inches? I think frost level is 36, but I mean, it's a fence, right? So it's not like it's holding anything that's livable, or, you know, it has to be occupied by someone. So what I dug down the hole. This is pretty deep, actually. So, and here in upstate New York, I mean, you need one of those, I'll show it to you in a little bit. It's one of those, you know, actually it's right here, because I've been using this all day today. It's unfortunate because I can't even dig a hole without using it. So I have like this this huge iron rod that is flat on one end, and it's pretty heavy, right? Can you see that? Flat on one end, and then it's pointy on the other end. So if you have any rocks or anything, that is gonna help either break it, or at least you can lever it, you know, use it as a cantilever or lever. You can lever it out the rocks, especially if it's a huge slate. So after I dug the hole, then I'm going to put concrete in there, but I'm also going to put I believe it's either a 2 inch or 2 3/4 inch, I'm not quite sure, but that post down there, and then put, you know, have it upright and leveled. Obviously I'm going to have the fence in this direction, pulling where everything is leveled, or at least close to it, and then use galvanized brackets there, and down there to kind of help it stand forward. While that's happening, I guess I'll go on my neighbor's side and try to pack the dirt in on that side. If I think it's futile, to be quite honest, but I'll see what I can do. Even if the concrete is smashed, I can probably pack it with something, sand or what have you. So that's what I'm gonna do for this section of the fence. So if you ever get a fence that's if it's put in, just make sure that they do go down below the frost level, or at least come close to it. Again, I mean, all the weight is actually going down, right? But again, being out in this open field, a lot of the wind, you have to take that into consideration, because it can actually cause sway back and forth. So that's that, all right? Okay. So right now, I'm working on this hole, and this one is fairly deep. Okay, this one's actually 30 inches. And I'm gonna use this, I think it's 2 3/8 galvanized pipe. Everything, the whole fence now is actually plumb, all right? I had to go on the other side of the fence and use 2x4s to push it back this way. As you can tell, there's a lot of bushes on the other side, and on the neighbor's side, that is. So kind of itchy from walking in through those thorns and bushes, but I was able to get it done. So I had to widen the hole, right? Because if the pipe goes down, you want to have, you know, equal amount of concrete all around, although it's wider on this side. And thereafter, what I'm going to do is actually try to smoothen out the sides as much as I can, to the best that I can, because then you worry about heave. If the concrete is, if, like, for example, if it's going straight down and the concrete's actually, parts of it are anchored, you know, into the ground, then the water underneath, as it freezes, will start to push up, and it has places to grab. onto the post, the concrete post footing. So try to smooth in and out. It's almost similar to when you get those sino tubes. I mean, it is what it is. It's just a fence. But if I don't do anything now, eventually everything's going to start to sway or lean back towards the neighbor's yard as the breeze of the air comes this way. So at least this is like one of the posts, the 4x4s that are actually loose. And if you put it right against it, so it's actually flush, it's actually plumb. So I'm really happy. So I had to go on the other side of the yard to wedge 2x4s. So when mixing the concrete, you want to make sure that it's not too wet or you start to lose the tensile strength. You really just want it just right. I mean, there are directions on how to mix the concrete and water ratio. But after a while, once you get the feel of what it looks like, you can pretty much just go by sight. So, are these things, okay? So they're adjustable, but it does fit each 2 3/8 post. And then you have the galvanized screws, wood screws that go right in into the beam itself. So 4 on each side, all right? And then all you have to do is just tighten this up. So what the good thing about this though is it has a L bracket right there where the 2x4 will rest on it will rest on top of it. So it'll be holding it this way. Okay. The next thing I got was lag screws. These are 1/4 by 1 inch at the local hardware store. And just to kind of let you guys know what happens if you don't pre-drill. If you're going into the closer to the middle of the wood, the likely chance of this splitting is pretty slim, okay? However, if you are more towards the edge, this is actually what happens. So typically I do pre-drill. I couldn't find my drill bit. Gave it a chance, and unfortunately, so you don't want it to split. On top of that, I only got 6 brackets. I should have gotten 9. As I went back to the hardware store, they don't have them. So what I'm going to do is actually just do the lower 2 of each post, and then when they do have them in stock, then do the top ones. I think it's important to get the lower ones closer to the bar, to the post, and then that one will follow thereafter. Okay, so this is not start to completion, however, just waiting for it to come in stock at the store. I do have a link to a similar video from Michigander, and that link will be on this screen. Thanks.